Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to this week's episode. I'm so crazy excited to be sat with what I've been told, and I've very quickly come to learn, is one of the nicest men in show business. You've seen him on your TV screens. You may have seen him live. He is the winner, ladies and gentlemen, of the very recent Chase. You won 120 grand, is that right?
It beat the Chasers, yeah.
Yeah, beat the Chasers. That was amazing. I want to talk about that. You've seen him in lots of things. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the legendary, the very beautiful Mr. Shaun Williamson. Woohoo!
I paid him to say all that. It's great.
Yeah. Now listen, Shaun, thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure.
I really appreciate this. But I want to say, before we start this interview, you've been on my TV screen forever, right? You are a household name. I love you. Everyone loves you. I feel like I already know you.
That just means you're old.
It does, yeah, I do feel a bit old, that is fair. But at the same time, I don't feel like I know you. So, what I thought we'd do to start off this interview, right is I've got with me a swear jar.
Okay.
All right? Now, you're more than welcome to talk about it as much as you like, but because I want to get to know you, I thought every time we mention the words Barry or EastEnders, we'll put a quid in the jar.
Okay.
All right? Because I'm sure that's all you get asked about. So, just want to put that out there from the start. So, thank you for joining me. I want to start by saying, when you first got the role of Barry in EastEnders, everyone, really loved Barry. Barry was a huge guy, and EastEnders must have been one of the biggest parts of your career, right? It must have, helped launch what you do. But before that, were you an actor, or was this your first acting role? Or was EastEnders the first?
So basically, there was no acting in our family whatsoever, or certainly not professionally. There was enough off screen. But I had a very normal upbringing, council estate, the usual old thing. And I didn't step foot on stage until I was, barring the odd school play, I didn't step foot on stage till I was 26.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
I was amateur dramatics, because they're always famously short of young men, because young men are more self-conscious. Yeah. So it's always a good place to sort of pick up women, really. And so I went along and I auditioned and I got a part. Yeah. And then I met my first wife in a play we were doing by Alan Bennett called Habeas Corpus. And then I applied to get into the drama school because I won the Best Actor in Kent award. I was all full of it.
Oh, congratulations,
sir. Thank you. Yeah. And then I thought, well, I'll apply to the big drama schools, RADA and Lambda. And they all went, no, go away.
Really?
You're not very good. So I worked hard for another year. And then I applied again in 1991, and I got into one called the Webber Douglas Academy, right? Which isn't that way. It doesn't exist anymore. I don't know if I've got anything to do with that. And then I did 3 years at drama school, and then I got into EastEnders 6 months after leaving.
Really?
Yes, I was very lucky.
Wow.
Yeah. I did the obligatory small part in the bill.
Yeah.
And I worked with...
Oh, we did. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Casualty.
It was a great show for giving actors work.
Yeah, right.
My very first job was as a paramedic in EastEnders.
You were a paramedic?
Yeah, I was a paramedic. So I think Grant beat up David Wicks for saying something. And I was called upon to run into the Queen Vic and patch up David's face.
So you weren't Barry at this point?
No,
you were like an extra.
Paramedic, exactly. What happened was, it was my very first audition. So I went along, and the director, I think the director was a friend of my agent's, who said, "Look, it's only one line, but you get to drive an ambulance around Albert Square and screech to a halt outside the Vic. It'd be great fun." And I thought, I'm not going to tell him I can't drive. So I just said, East Clean Gov. Whatever the line was. And he went, "Great, obviously you got the job and we'll see you." And then I said to my agent, "I can't drive." He went, "Oh, you mug."
Oh, no.
I'll have a chat with him. So I had a chat with him and he went, "All right, you can play Paramedic 1. And Paramedic 1 had 16 lines instead of 1. So when the casting of Barry came up,
nice,
they remembered the paramedic because he had 16 lines. So
wow.
There you go. Weird,
oh, my goodness, mate. That's a big step into it. Yeah. Thrown straight in the deep end.
Yeah.
How long were you in that show for?
10 years. Pretty much.
10 years, wow.
Yes, so that's why I wanted out. That's all I'd done.
Yeah, right.
And at the time there was a big thing in the paper. Oh, he's left EastEnders to do a panto. and all this. But it's just that happened to be the first job that was there. I just wanted to do something other than play Barry, you know.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it for 10 years. So,
and do you know what? Like, I've spoken to a lot of celebrities about this, and when you leave a big TV show, when you're such a big person, you're such a big part of that show, and you leave and you do something like Panto, people think that's almost a step down, like in your career. And I couldn't agree more. Those are the sorts of people that don't realise what it's like to stand on stage and feel that buzz. I mean,
sure.
Panto is one of the best things in the world, right?
Yeah, it is fantastic, and it's quite anarchic. So it's not like doing an Agatha Christie play. You know, if you slip and fall over,
you seem like quite an anarchic person. You do, because I've seen.
I'm quietly anarchic. I mean, I was fined by 3 bosses, I think. At EastEnders.
Really?
So I am a quiet anarchist. Yeah, but only a quiet one. But I don't like being told what to do.
That is true. Yeah. Well, you can see that because when I watched you, one of my favourite things. I'm sorry, because I'm proper fanboying out now. One of my favourite things to watch of you is your outtakes on extras.
Yeah, well this is the other thing. As we were saying about, people think, well, that's a downward step doing Panto after a soap. The great thing was that then Ricky and Stephen came along, and it kept me up there just for a little bit longer, you know what I mean, in between 2006 and 10, because I went into Life's Too Short after that and the invention of lying. So they kept the ball in the air for another 4 years, so that was good.
Did you know him before that, or was that...
No, I didn't have a clue. I was sitting in my garden one day, my wife came out, she said, we've got Ricky Gervais on the phone. I said... But I just said, no, it's not him. It's that one who could be a radio DJ wind-up.
Yeah, right.
Let's get poor old Barry and sort of, convince him that he's just about to...
Going to run out of money here, isn't I?
Convince him that he's about to act with the 2 hottest properties on television, comedy-wise. But no, it was him, And he just said, look, we're fans of yours in EastEnders, and come along and meet us. So we went along. Sorry, mate. And they had it all storyboarded out, and they said, look, you will get the mickey taken out of you, but we all will.
Yeah.
And they had Kate Winslet as a nun, and, whoever it was, and Ross Kemp getting beaten up by Vinnie Jones. I said, well, if they can put themselves through that, I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a problem. And in the end, I was giving them ammunition,
Mate, it was brilliant.
I said, I've had a hair transplant. I said, use it. And that was Steve Munch. He goes, all right, Barry, keep your hair transplant on. I said, just use what you got. I
Mate, it must have been so fun to kind of improv with those guys.
But the outtakes, as you said, because Ricky is nuts, and he's like a genius child, and he will giggle like that uncontrollably.
Yeah.
And particularly the Patrick Stewart one, if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about.
Oh my
if you go
God,
on
this is brilliant.
Extras, bloopers, Patrick Stewart. Ricky ruins about 25 takes. I mean, it's extraordinary. And he's the boss.
Yeah, right.
He's the director, He's like, okay. I don't know.
Man, do you know what? I feel like you've got so many different strings to your bow. Like, you're great. You're amazing at comedy. You're an incredible actor.
Well, I think the interesting thing about acting is that I don't think I'm a very good actor, but I think what most actors do is...
Do you not think?
No, I don't.
I couldn't disagree with you more.
I play myself very well. But I think most actors, there's very few Martin Sheens in the world, do you know what I mean? Who can totally shape change and shape shift, whatever they call it. And that to me is a proper actor, and you're always in awe of those sort of people. Most people play an extension of themselves. So to me, there's character. People say I was a character actor. Do you remember a bit before your time, Dame Margaret Rutherford?
No,
she played Miss Marple, and everyone went,
oh, okay, yes,
great character actor. She wasn't a character actor, she just played Margaret Rutherford, but everyone loved Margaret Rutherford, so it's not a problem. So there's character actors and there's personality actors, and, well, there's stars, right? There's stars, and we all know what makes one. It's a mixture of luck and good looks and talent. There's stars, Tom Hanks, whoever, Meryl Streep. And then there's character actors like Michael Sheen, and then there's personality actors. And I reckon 80% of actors are personality actors. They just play an extension of themselves.
Absolutely. But I think, but for me personally, like you say, I don't know if I'm a good actor. What you bring to any role that you do, which I think is really important. The first things first is you've got to make the audience really like that character, and at least kind of, want them to win in some way. And what you bring, I think, is like this vulnerability, especially with Barry. Barry he felt vulnerable, and the way you played it just made you, it's kind of like the audience are behind you and they want you to win no matter what you're doing.
Well, it's interesting because I'm just watching repeats of EastEnders from day one on the, I think it's called the Drama Channel.
Right.
So I watched it, I waited until 1994, I was going to watch it all from the start, and then I did look at all my stuff again, and it's interesting that at the start, they really wanted a villain. So, for example, he gives... the number of a hitman to Cindy, who then shoots Ian Beale. People forget that.
Oh,
wow. He got Cindy's kids out of school and drove them to the Waterloo Eurostar, that's where it was then, so that she could elope with David Wicks. He burnt down the car lot and went to prison for it. So to get rid of the... he always did it with the right intentions. It was all with the heart. So he wanted to get rid of the Mike Reed character because Mike Reed was giving Roy, his dad, a hard time. So he set fire to the car lot because he was stupid. So he went to prison. So they wanted a villain. And then when a character called Nigel left, I remember this Paul Bradley, he went into Holby, I think. Nigel was the guy with the loud shirts and the kipper ties, you know. And when he went, I think they needed a sort of fat, funny man to fill his boots. Because me and Nigel laugh about it. He's always getting called Barry in the street. Always. Sorry. Always. He's always been being called the B word. Yeah. And which we call it now, running out of money. Yeah. And so they conveniently lobotomised me and just shifted me over into the comedy role. Right. And you can see it. You can see. I'm watching it now.
Can you? Wow.
From 94 to 99, they just shifted him in ever so subtly. So now he can't walk down the street without tripping on a banana skin, whereas before he was setting fire to car lots. And
that must be interesting going back through that change, man. You'll have to lend me the box set sometime.
It's very big. There's 650 episodes.
So let's go back to the beginning because I had a little chat with you on the phone. There's a couple of things that I want to kind of touch on because you're such an interesting man. Let's talk about the forces for a minute because I don't think this is something that many people will know.
Well, there's every reason for them not knowing it. I think there's some sailors who spent more time on one wave than I spent in the Navy. So basically,
so you were in the Navy?
Yeah. So I left school and I got straight into. I went straight into work. I left school before anyone else. I was the first kid in my school to leave school. In my year. Because I got a job. It was 1981 Thatcherism. There was a recession, and I got an apprenticeship at the post office. It was supposed to be a telegram boy, but faxes were coming in, so they were phasing out telegrams. So there were postal cadets who were going to be the leaders of the future. So I got a job as a postal cadet. So I left school on condition that I went back and took my exams in the summer. Yeah. So I started work, got a uniform. It didn't say you're a postal cadet. It just said postman. Yeah. And so you start drinking straight away at 16 in pubs, which was wonderful. Never got questioned. And really, I just wanted to just be a drunken postman like my dad, really. Yeah. I had a wonderful time. But then 3 years of that, and I'm like, no, come on, there must be, more going on than this. So I think I was sitting in the dentist waiting room, and I think there was a brochure on the desk, it said a recruitment thing. I don't know why. I think the dentist's son had been in the RAF. But anyway, it doesnment matter. So there was a recruitment thing on there, I said helicopter pilot. I thought, I want to be like Prince Andrew. I don't now. I thought I want to, be like Prince Andrew because at the time he'd been a helicopter pilot in the Falklands for anyone who's too young to remember. So I applied to the Navy and I passed all my tests and I got a place at the Royal Naval Air, whatever it's called, training.
Wow.
And the last thing they did was the medical. They said, you're colourblind. I went, no. Because you can't do anything remotely interesting if you're colourblind in the forces, You can be a steward, which trains you to be... There's nothing wrong with these jobs, by the way. Yeah. I wanted to be a helicopter pilot. You understand, this is where it's coming from. Steward trains you to be basically a silver service waiter at a hotel when you leave and go up through that. A stores accountant means exactly what it is. You dish out stores to the sailors. A cook, full stop. Or a writer. So I said, what's a writer? So it's like you're a pay accountant. You're on the ship and you run everyone's pay accountants. You run all the you're like a secretary. And I thought, I'll do that. Hated it. So I did part 1 training. I loved all that, assault courses, rifles, and all that sort of thing. And then got to part 2. The great thing about part 2 training, if you're a writer, is you work with Wrens.
Okay.
So you're working with the Wrens on so that's great. So plenty of girlfriends. But apart from that, it was abysmal. So I got myself thrown out. Which isn't easy.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, how the hell did you do that?
Well, I looked up all different things, bedwetting, and I thought, no, I'm not going through that. I've done enough of that in between the ages of 16 and 18 with the drinking in the post office. Belonging to a militant organisation. So I went into Plymouth. There was an organisation called Militant at the time. I went, have you got any brochures? I just left them on my bed. No one took a blind bit of notice. So in the end, I had an exam left to pass, and I just kept failing it, and it was so obvious I was doing it on purpose. Yeah. I mean, it's the same questions. Yeah. But you'd fail the test, then you'd have to wait for 2 weeks, then join another group. So every time you failed a test, you had to wait a month.
Oh, wow.
So they're always finding things for you to do. So they sent us mountaineering. So we went up a mountain in Snowdon called Triffin, which is far more... I know people laugh at me because there's a restaurant at the top of Snowdon, but Triffin is a tricky piece of work. One of my mates fell and broke his leg, so we had to climb down to get to him. And then we all got stranded, all got hypothermia and got airlifted by the RAF. So So ironically, that should have been me in the helicopter, but it was me on the...
Yeah, right. You're colourblind.
Exactly. All that orange snow. So, and then I went boxing. I went down and said, I want to join a boxing team. And they said, well, we don't have a boxing team at HMS Raleigh because it's a training camp and it's very transient. And then they said, you can join the Drake boxing team, which is over in Plymouth. And then I went there once, did a bit of sparring, and they said, we got you a fight. I'd literally just been in the ring once. Right. So they drove me up to Hereford. We stayed at the SAS camp the night on Stirling Lines. And the next day I fought someone. I don't know if it was SAS or not. I got battered, man. Battered.
Oh, no way.
So the Navy just tried to kill me in various sort of fun ways, really. Out. So in the end, I got thrown out, basically. Yeah. So that's my naval career. It was totally inglorious.
Oh, my goodness, mate. You've lived a hell of a life, haven't you?
And then I went out on a training ship because my boss said, look, Williamson, we know you're failing these exams on purpose. We're going to send you to sea. Well, it was what's called a seaman training vessel. So they take out the seaman branch, or spunkies as they're called. Sorry. Because the seamen run the ship, the basics of it, ropes, cables. They don't do weapons. Or the seamen run the ship.
Right. Okay.
Just make sure the ship is smooth. And so it was a seaman training vessel. We went out right off the coast of England. I thought, well, this would be all right, And then first morning I got woken up at 4 a.m. Chef's gone sick. You're cooking. So what did you cooking? Cooking for 70 people. Never cooked an egg in my life. So I'm in this galley, knocking up a full English for 70 people. It was a nightmare. The first two got something just about resembling a full English, and the rest it just ended up looking like roadkill.
Oh, mate!
So everyone hated me. So I just wasn't cut out to be a sailor.
No. Really. You don't know until you try, though, do you,
Savage.
Mate? That's for sure. So look, let's talk about one of your most recent things. Now we've gone back. Let's go forward. Beat the Chasers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on. First of all, amazing. Really, really amazing. You're a bloody clever man. Were you nervous?
1985, my parents gave me Trivial Pursuit for Christmas, and I got hooked on it. I did get really hooked on Trivial.
I used to love Trivial
Pursuit. Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it? Just the design, everything.
Are they pieces of cheese or pizza? What do you say?
Oh, cheeses.
Cheese all the way. Yeah. Well done. Thank you, mate.
Or there's wedges.
Thank you.
Wedges. If you want to sit on the fence, you can be a wedge.
No, a wedger.
You can have a wedgie.
Okay.
So I then joined a pub quiz team, and they were very good, and we won all the Kent League several times, and then.
So you've been doing it forever, like quizzing?
Yeah, really. Forever. But then when I got into EastEnders, it gave me the opportunity to go onto these celebrity shows, well remembered. These celebrity shows, you see. I remember the first one we did, I felt so hard done by it, was Weakest Link. And I was running around saying, come on, listen, and everyone was going, no. I said, come on. It'd be really great. Don't worry about Anne Robinson. We go on there and
Yeah.
And we all went on there. I talked about 5 of them into it. And then a few of us got 2 questions wrong. A few of us got 1 question wrong. Wendy Richards got 2 wrong. They voted me off first.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
Mate, that's rubbish.
So everyone voted me off. I'm not a bitter person. Next day I wrote on a bit of paper, Et tu, Brute, right? Put it on their dressing room door, stab in the back.
Is that what that means, Et tu, Brute?
He said, you too, Brute, when he got stabbed in the back.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I put Et tu, Brute, which is Latin, and then I remember Perry Fenwick going up to Tolkaita going, Shaun's just stuck someone on my door in French. That sums it up, really. So there you go. Brilliant. So I was very bitter. So then after that, I thought, no, I'll just do it. So after that, Celebrity Mastermind, I managed to win that.
Did you?
Subject Richard Burton, yeah.
Wow.
And I remember I sat next to Anthony Worrell Thompson, the chef.
Yeah.
He was on it. He went, Richard Burton was my godfather. I went, oh, well, okay.
Didn't know that, but I got that question wrong.
Yeah, it was wrong. And, David Blunkett.
Yeah.
So I had to help David Blunkett to the chair because there's a big drop from the chair to the floor, so they didn't even trust the dog. So I was more nerve-wracking helping him to the chair and back.
Wow.
So then there was that. So basically, blah, 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 the chase a few times, and then it culminated in Beat the Chasers. So we went to the studio. There was myself, Richard Osman, Dom Jolly, some quite bright people, Nish Kumar.
Yeah.
And then they come out and said, someone's ill, can't do it. I went, oh, you're joking. So how many of you can come back next week? And Richard Osman couldn't, but I could. So we went back the following week. It was my wife's birthday. I said, could I go on early? They went, we think you'll last. I went, oh. But, so when I went on last, they still had money in the kitty, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hadn't been won.
Right,
and
okay.
I think that's why I got the offer of 120,
because I watched it.
It was a left.
That was a big jump as well, from 4 chases to 5 to 120 grand. That was a huge jump.
They gave me 15 seconds, which is a long time. It means you can get about 4 or 5 questions wrong, really.
Do you think?
Yeah. I've worked it out.
For someone like you, mate.
Bradley asked one, you answer it, because it could be over in about 2.5, 3 seconds. You can sort of get 5 questions wrong, so I thought I've got to go for it. Wow. And it's for a lovely little charity, and they were just about to fold, and I phoned the woman up, and she couldn't speak for 10 minutes. She broke down.
Did she?
Meant the charity could carry on,
my goodness,
so it's lovely.
mate.
ITV are very generous. BBC One are very tight.
Yeah,
it's in Pointless, which I love, by the way, and Alexander, he'd agree himself.
Yeah, I
it's
bet.
a celebrity special.
Yeah.
£2,500. So ITV are very generous.
Yeah, completely.
Because they've got the sponsor money.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
You can win some serious sums on that. It's like we did the normal chase and we got 60 grand out of the building.
Yeah.
We beat the beast, so it was all good.
Mate, it was amazing, and you looked quite emotional at the end. You were like, I'm
just
so
relief.
happy inside, but I can't believe it. You looked so happy.
It's just the relief, the sheer relief of it.
Yeah.
And one thing you don't look at them or the clock. You look at Bradley. Look at Bradley.
Yeah.
If you get one wrong, let it go. Get the next one right. Just don't look at the clock.
Yeah. Right. How big is the beast?
Yeah, he's a big lad, but he's got a bigger brother.
What? Does he?
Their mum's food bill must have been astronomical.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's got a bigger brother. His brother's about 6'8".
Is he?
And bigger, yeah.
Wow, man, no way. Yeah, he looks like a big bloke.
He's a unit.
So what's on the cards for you now? What's on the cards for Barry from EastEnders right now? Sorry, I want to get rid of this, mate. Let's get it to the charity.
Well, barioke.
Barioke?
Yeah.
What's barioke?
So it's karaoke compared by me.
Really
but
amazing.
Obviously, I go out, I sing. I sing. I don't just sort of say, now take it away, it's yours. I sing with them.
Yeah.
So it's not just me start topping and tailing it. That'd be, anyone could do that.
Because you do cabaret, don't you? You're a singer.
What happened was when Barry got sent to prison for torching the car lot, I said to them, "Am I coming back?" They said, "We don't know." They said, "You're out for about 6 months." I went to my mate Aaron Stone. He ran a nightclub in Rochester, and I said, "Can I?" No, I was there one night on a night out, and he said, and I was talking to him about my problem, and he said, "You could be a compere."
Right.
I said, "What's a compere?" Didn't have a clue. He said, "You come out, sing a song, tell a few funnies, bring on the support act, tell a few funnies, sing a song. Everyone has chicken and chips in a basket." We're back to the early 90s, folks. And then you introduce the star turn. Jim Davidson, the Drifters, David Essex, Roy Chubby Brown. So that's what I did every Friday night for a few weeks. And then, so that's how I cut my teeth on it. And then one night he said, it's Mike Reed, but Mike's not here yet. He's late. He's caught in the old Dartford Tunnel in the old traffic because he was coming from Essex into Kent.
I hate that
So I
tunnel.
said, oh, it's awful. So I said, okay, great. I hadn't seen him since I left the show, which by then would have been about 4 months. So the girl on the spotlight comes over, Kirsty. She says, "You tell 2 jokes that Mike tells." I did the spotlight for him last night at the Circus Tavern. I went, "Oh, thank you," because that could have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
So Mike turns up. He goes, "What are you doing here?" I went, I'm your warm-up." He went, "Oh, nice one. Yeah. He said, "You're going to run your gags past me then?" I went, "I don't tell Mike any jokes that you tell." And I thought, he went, "All right, I'll trust you then." So he went out. He had him eating out the palm of his hand. Then he starts to tell a joke I've told in the warm-up.
Yeah. Oh, no.
One's got through the net,
Oh, no.
So he finishes this joke to silence. He went, "Now then, either that joke's become crap overnight or my colleague's beaten me to it." And someone said, "Yeah, Barry told it." "Well, he ain't my effing colleague no more then, is he?" He picked him back up, had him eating out the palm of his hand, then he started telling another joke I told in the warm-up.
Oh, no.
So when he come off, I hid in a broom cupboard.
Did he?
And I heard him walk in the dressing room and he got his coat on and he walked past and he went, "I'll see you back at work, joke thief."
Oh, God.
But that's where I realised I got half my material from, listening to him behind the bar in the Queen Vic, nightmare.
Oh, man, that's a killer.
So that's how it started. And then,
Wow.
when I left the show, particularly, because you can't do that much when you're in the show because they can't always guarantee you're going to be free. And I've done loads of after dinner speaking and comparing and award prize giving and loads.
Yeah.
I've done.
Mate, you're everywhere.
15 in the last
Shaun, you're
6 weeks.
everywhere. Have you?
Yeah,
really?
because when Freedom Day got postponed by a month, everything got pushed on to August, September, October. Everything.
Wow.
So I've done loads. So I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky.
How were you doing over lockdown? Were you doing like Zoom conferences and things like that?
I'm one of these people where the first couple of months I really didn't mind. Because no one knew how long it was going to go on for. To me, it was just like one long Sunday afternoon from the 1950s.
But this is the best thing that's ever going to happen to my garden.
Wonderful. Yeah, exactly. No traffic, no aeroplanes, no people. I've got a beauty spot next to me, which has got a lake. No one there. Normally, it's got families the size of the Waltons, running around, little barbecues burning. There's nothing. No one on it apart from a few people walking their dogs. I thought this is bliss. Yeah. We've got a bar in the house. We've got a hot tub. So it was like this was great. And then, when Panther got cancelled, I thought, okay, that's how you pay your tax in January. So I thought, okay, this is all right. So then what I did was I started running online quizzes Zoom quizzes for companies and their Christmas parties.
Oh, great.
I did about 15 of those. So
wow,
so
amazing.
I was very lucky.
Yeah, you are lucky, mate. And you've just brought out a book, aren't you? It's official. You're a published author.
I am. It's called A Matter of Facts. So basically, I thought no one's going to buy my autobiography. I've been out of the show too long.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
So what I thought, what I'll do, I'll blend it in with my year in the world of quizzing. So I thought I will try and become the best quizzer I can be over the course of a year. I'll start by attending the World Championships. I'll finish by attending the following year's World Championships, and we'll see how far I've climbed up the world ratings. And it's about that. I should have to put a pound in for this journey. I'll only ever say the word once. Through that year, and I spice it up with bits of autobiography.
Wow.
But I don't just crowbar them in. If it crops up, it's like my childhood. It's like the last couple of... I lost a friend up at Twin Towers. So the chapter's about him, not me. Yeah. So I don't even go into my childhood and the minutiae of that. It's just that as things crop up, So
you actually entered the World Championships?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can. So it sounds very exotic, but it's held in a theatre in Dunstable.
Okay. Oh, right. Wow. Oh, God.
Called the Eric Morecambe Theatre. Yeah. So you just crowd into this room. And in fairness, there's also one going on in Scotland, and there's one in Cardiff. So there's quite a few people doing it at the same time. And I came... You've got to be brilliant to win the World Championships because they can't even put questions in about, EastEnders or anything like that because there are people doing this quiz in Zimbabwe and Japan. So it's so broad.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You've got to know about Croatian folk dances and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And wildlife from the Philippines. So to win that, you've got to be pretty special.
Yeah, right.
And I come something like 870th out of 2,000.
Hey, that's not bad going.
But then I thought, I'm confident I can do better than that. I had a raging toothache as well, and I wasn't concentrating. I thought, I can do better than that. And then I climbed from the national rankings, the UK rankings, from 137 to, I think it was 52. And then everyone above is just like brilliant. They're the eggheads, the chasers and all that. So I was doing all right. And then lockdown came. But at least part of the book is a detailed event of lockdown, and COVID.
Yeah, of course.
And so that's all in there for posterity. But yeah, so it sort of put the kibosh on me doing the World Championships for the second time.
Amazing, man. And what's the book called again?
A Matter of Facts.
A Matter of Fact. Shameless plug there.
And it came out the day the bookshop shut in October.
Oh, great. Yeah, brilliant.
I will never slag off Amazon again, trust me.
Yeah, love them. All right, well, look, one final question before we go for Barry, EastEnders. We've been through pretty much your whole life, but one thing I really want to know is, and ask everybody this, because I find this a really interesting question. If you could go back in time, what age, to meet yourself, what age would you go back to and what would you tell yourself?
I think I'd go back to the age of 16 or 17 when I was, because I drank heavily, and I don't shy away from that in the book. And I think I'd say, look up yourself, son. There's night. I've told my kids this, and they've only now in their early to mid-20s are they saying, we take your advice now, because you're never going to do it as a teenager. There's nights you'll be out, and there's nothing more to gain from the night. You with me?
Yeah.
You might be too drunk. There's nothing happening. Don't go chasing the rest of the night.
That's good
advice,
advice,
getting drunk or desperately trying to... Because there might be a single girl in the next club. There might be this, there might be that. Just know there's nights when you've got to call it quits and go, tonight ain't my night.
Less is more,
Save your money, get home, look after yourself.
Yeah.
You will have some big nights. But don't chase it all the time. You don't need to. Give your body a little rest.
That's really good advice, man. Stick this down. Shaun, you are a beautiful man, and I can't thank you enough for coming here to do this with me, mate. And I know that your own personal time is the most expensive thing you own, and so to give me some of it, I really appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Last quid. You want to say it?
I was just grateful to Barry, really, and all the, you know, a lot of stuff has come from the EE word.
Yeah.
So even though, again, in the book, I don't hold back. I have my problems there, which I think if you work for the BBC for 10 years, you go into. But I'll always be incredibly grateful to it and everything that I've got out of it. And people say, "Are you sick of it?" I always say, I know what it's given me because I've got it. I don't know what it's cost me. Because I've never been offered it.
And do you know, everyone I've spoken to that's ever met you, a lot of people from holiday parks and theatres, and everyone that tells me exactly the same thing, is that you are one of the most amazing, generous people. Like, you have fans come up to you and go, "Can you do a video for me?" And you're there on the spot. You'll do it for them. There's no argument, and there ain't many people like you, mate. There isn't.
You can't expect people to follow you and buy your things and... You know, and then you don't give them your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think only once I'd take my daughter to an A&E when she was like 18 months. You know.
Yeah.
And I went, "I really can't. I'm so sorry."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the only time I can remember anyway.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate you coming here, man. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing interview. The legend that is Shaun Williamson. Make sure you grab a copy of his new book, which is available now on Amazon. And if you ever see this guy around your town doing karaoke, come and have a sing-song. He's got a bloody great voice. In the meanwhile, join us next week for another great interview. My name is Matt Edwards. Meow. I love you. Goodbye.